Button. Hey, folks. Hey, Jim Pankey here. We're live, and I've got right up here above me is
Lisa. Good to see you, Jim.
Hey, down there. Oh, up there. There you are. Yeah. So let's sit here a minute and give some folks to maybe populate and see if folks show up, and if they don't, we'll just sit here and just talk amongst ourselves. I've been doing my finger ringing.
Yeah?
That's kind of nice. You just went blank on me there, Lisa.
Oh no. Let me see if I can fix it.
While Lisa's fixing that, I'll play us a tune. Hello, Josiah Dalton. Hey, Josiah. Y'all, thanks for coming. Hey, Michael, thanks for showing up, man. Waiting on Lisa to get resituated. We were good, and then she just went poof. So it's just, you just got me. You just got me. Let's see. I'll pick y'all a tune. Let's see. Lisa is back. Hold on, let me do some stuff here. Boom. And there's Lisa.
Hey there.
Hey, hang on here. We're going to have a special guest here in a minute too, folks. And as soon as I see his smiling face, I will drop him in here. There he is. All right, hang on. Let me let him know that I'm about to drop him in. All right, here we go. Boom. Hey, y'all. Right down here.
Hey, Jim. Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
Y'all, this is Ashley Atz. Ashley is the A&R man from Recording King. And
that's right.
I talk with Ashley all the time. And we're going to have a live stream coming up this Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time with Ashley and Travis from Recording King. And so y'all can ask them all kinds of questions, and we're just going to hang out and talk about Recording King and look at some cool products and stuff. But also wanted to give Ashley an opportunity to look at this stream, see how that looks. So
you guys are looking great.
Do we?
Thanks,
yeah.
Ashley.
Oh, Lisa looks great. Me, on the other hand, I look kind of like I look, man. So
that's awesome. Well, enjoy the rest of the show. Hopefully we'll see all of you on Friday.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ashley.
Cool.
There we go. How about that? Pretty
nice.
Neat. All right. Let's get rid of the big banner here. Boom. There we go.
All right. Good to see you.
Here, I'm going to. Boom.
You like to be on that side.
I do. Well, this is my side. This is where well, this way I can look at you. All right, folks. I was going to pick a song. So I was picking a song, yes. And I saw some folks show up, and I thought, well, let's talk about that. All righty.
Nice.
Okay. Hey, who all we got here? Let me look real quick. Oh, we got a handful of folks. Folks, we are talking about moving today. And Lisa, we had some topics, didn't we? What we have? We were talking about.
Well, there was a specific question about headaches. And so I thought I could take you guys through some movements and help you think about how the moves are happening.
I
headaches is a
I know
broad category.
Headaches.
You do?
It's the banjo. Look, I've been at this a long time, and banjo's a loud instrument. Yeah, there's headaches, tinnitus. There's just a variety of issues. But yeah.
Now I wonder if that's why. So it was Severin who had asked about that, and there's so many reasons for headaches, and in my world, I'm thinking nutrition, hydration, and stress, and things like that. I totally forgot about
noise,
the humorous side of things.
Noise, yes.
But it's a legit thing then too, even hearing yourself practice.
Absolutely.
So tell me more about that. I didn't expect that.
So I know that when I teach, I borrow a friend of mine's law office that I teach out of, and I use one of his offices there. And it's not a small office, but it's not a huge office either. It's an average office size, but in there, I'm enclosed with the banjo, and after 2 or 3 hours of teaching in that room, my ears are going and I will actually. And I don't have them they're in my case, but I have earplugs that I wear. If I'm going to be teaching all day long, I'll put in earplugs. And they're not like super heavy duty earplugs for like working industrial or shooting or something, but they're made for musicians, and they cut out some of but I still get some of the treble where I can still tell what I'm playing. And so I will use those. And I use, like, if a student sees me putting them in, they're like, "Why are you putting in earplugs?" I said, "I've heard all this before. I don't need to hear any of this." But yeah, you can actually have some ear fatigue, and especially if you're playing, I've done concerts that were really loud, and certainly, regretted not wearing earplugs. And I'm playing acoustic music, it's not like I'm plugged in rocking out, but still, after a long show, you deal with some ear fatigue, and, your ears ring, and, you're doing some damage there. And so, yeah, I definitely recommend to look into getting some earplugs for acoustic musicians, and you can get some cheap ones. If you go to your local music store, they will have some Heroes or something just cheap. Fender makes some. I don't, not like I'm sponsored by anybody that does earplugs, but it's but there's a wide variety of them, and you can spend as little or as much, but start with some inexpensive ones just to see. And I used to, when we used to go to the NAMM shows pretty regular, and still try to go. NAMM is a big National Association of Music Merchandisers, and everybody that sells a music product shows up. And we have a summer NAMM in Nashville, and it's a little tiny thing. And then there's one in Anaheim, which it's bigger than I can describe. And but when you would go, there's usually like this big bin right out before you go in of hearing protection, little earplugs, and I just get a pocket full, and that would be my
souvenir from it.
Yeah.
I don't know how cheap of a solution. I would recommend toilet paper in a pinch, but that seems to be pretty valuable stuff right now.
Yeah, you shouldn't be putting toilet paper in your ears.
Clean toilet paper, Jim. Yeah. Unless it sounds like.
Oh, whiskey flyer. Yeah, you'll like his comment here. We'll put that right there. Yeah, that.
It's tough with everybody at home together all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, okay, so this is unexpected with the ears, but I love it. That's what I'm liking about these live shows. So we've switched to these ear pods, and hopefully it sounds a little better for you folks listening at home. But there is something you can do for ears. I don't know if it'll work for the reason, but in general, it helps with ears and can feel really good and calming. So let's see. If I zoom in on my ear here and I take this out, hopefully you can still hear me. There's this nub right here. And sometimes people will get that nub pierced.
That
right?
doesn't sound like it much fun.
Well, I'm not going to recommend that. But let's see. I'm trying to simultaneously watch myself do this while okay, yeah, this works. All right, so my hand is pressed against my cheek. But really, instead of pushing in towards my face, I'm actually sliding down towards my mouth. And can you see how that moves that nub?
Yeah.
So try that. And sometimes it will have the effect of, well, it'll give you a chubby cheek for one thing, but
that's fun.
It might make it feel like your ear hole is getting bigger.
Bigger, yeah. I'm glad I washed my ears this morning.
All right. And you would want to do a sustained hold, like maybe even up to a minute. Mm-hmm.
Looks like
very serious.
Your tooth okay, Lisa?
I mean, sometimes you sit on the couch and you smush your face, and but yeah, so you're just getting that nub to move.
Mm-hmm.
What that does is move one of the cranial nerves that serves the ear.
Home Alone.
You can move it from both sides. So if you put your hand behind your ear, just like so, and slide backwards, and then one hand in the front, it slides forwards. Sometimes it needs to go up, sometimes it needs to go down, whatever feels just right for you.
Okay. Funny faces with Lisa and Jim.
Very close up.
That's personal right there now.
Did anyone try that at home? I gotta know.
Please, somebody else other than me has had to have tried this.
Now, I don't usually use these, but when I have, it's like the shape of your ear hole isn't used to having something stuffed in it, and so it can get uncomfortable, and so that might help it feel better. But that's one way to calm down the nervous system related to the ears.
Let's see if anybody's got questions yet. I don't see any questions yet.
Okay. I know one of our friends who was on last week, Larry, he'll always put up cute cartoons, and often they are about banjos and how loud they are. And
yeah, Larry has no respect. Oh, in other news, it's totally random. I just got a message. I'm a grandpa.
Yay!
Y'all didn't know that, but I am a grandpa. This is brand new. My grandson is headed home, so he's on his way, and yeah,
that's great.
Yay me! And he's all the way across the country, so I can't go see him just yet. But soon. Excited about that. So that has very little to do with our stream, but it's just.
But everything to do with you.
Yeah, I'm a grandpa,
and you're part of this.
I don't know about y'all, but that's a first for me. And it's like most of my friends, especially friends my age, they're already all grandparents. It's like not me. And so I am now. So I've joined the club. I think you get a little card, that you can carry, like official granddad or something. I don't know.
We might need to change the banner so that people can make suggestions for your grandpa name. Because you need a pretty cool grandpa name.
Yeah, here, let's see here. All right. This is crazy. All right. Here's the banner.
Because I bet you've got a pretty creative bunch, and it would be fun to see. Because they kind of know you.
Yes.
So if you guys out in the internet world, around the world, have a name suggestion for Grandpa Jim.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, my son calls me Pop, so who knows? And he better be watching, and he's probably not because he's busy taking his kid home. So I hope he's not watching.
He's driving safely.
Yeah, safely. With extra bumpers and stuff around the outside of his car, like tires all the way around.
Yes, we'll send him goodwill. Well, hopefully it's not crowded on the roads right now for him.
No.
That is so exciting for them both.
Yeah, this is great. It was a real roller coaster ride on him getting here, but he's here and he's safe and he's healthy and he's my grandson, but he's beautiful. He really is. Of course he's beautiful. I mean, look at me. I mean, why wouldn't he be? Got part of my genetics anyway. So.
Well, since this is a moving show, babies are relevant. So if anybody out there has babies or kids in their lives, or really just even animals any age, watching other living things move, that's an interesting one, is a great way to learn about movement.
Yeah.
Quitting smoking, I mean, as a professional in my scope of practice, I don't have any tips other than, yeah.
See, I think of my dad. I remember when my dad quit smoking. It was 1970, and he just quit. He just figured out
cold turkey. He
just quit, and not only did he quit, he carried around a pack of Newports in his shirt pocket the whole time. He wore them out, but he had quit and carried them with him. And he also had a carton in his top dresser drawer that he did not throw away, and he kept them. And I guess to prove to himself that he quit. But my thing is, hey, it's not good for you. You know that. You know it's not good for you. So
there's no good time to quit. So you have to figure out why you want to quit, what's preventing you from quitting, like what are the hurdles around it, know what your stressors are and have a backup plan. I think what I've heard a lot of times, it's like the fidgeting with the hands, like having something to do with your hands. So in the scope of this show, I can refer them back to the first one that we did a couple weeks ago where we had all those hand moves. And there's some great ideas on hand stretches that you could be doing that'll keep your fingers busy while also mobilizing your hands to help you be a better player.
Yeah. Big Dog suggested fidget spinners.
Fidget spinners, yeah.
Just something to keep yourself occupied. You could trade them for something else. A lot of times, but you don't want to trade it for something bad. But yeah, you can trade it for something else. So yeah, I guess I don't have any real advice. It goes back to my first
play more banjo.
Play more banjo, yeah. And in my first set of lessons, in lesson number 1, there is the phrase that I made when people are talking about their fingers hurting or whatever. It's just suck it up, cupcake. You just got to do it. It's I don't know but I promise you can quit. You can quit.
Yeah,
you can
for
quit.
Sure.
People quit every day, so you can quit. All right.
When I was learning French horn for a small blip in my life, the recommendation was to carry around the mouthpiece and then keep it in your pocket. And when you're walking to and from class, you just practice your embouchure. And so you could do the same thing with your hands. Like even if my hands are out of view, but
put your picks on.
Hand stretches. Yeah.
Put your picks on.
I do my hand stretches a lot while I'm talking to people.
Yeah.
Whether they see it or not, whether it's in view or not.
What about our headaches? Our headaches?
So headaches. There's a ton of different kinds of headaches, and there's lots of reasons people have them. And I don't know all those reasons that you might be having them. But from this perspective, we can think about circulating the tissues. And the thing that keeps them circulated is moving them. So let's see how your head moves, which really it moves because your neck moves. So I would just start out with like, but go slow, because like speed hides things, right? So you can look to the left, look to the right, look up, look down, and
Look
all
all
around.
around. See my thumb? Gee, you're dumb.
Sometimes they might be like sight headaches too, especially in this time where we're all using the internet and screen time to communicate and connect. So keeping your head really still, so look straight at the camera. That was a little spooky, Jim. So just looking straight ahead, you're going to look up only with your eyes. So I'm going to watch you do it. Yeah. And then look down with your eyes. And then look to the left or the right. And then the other direction. And then make a big circle. And then circle the other way. And then make an X pattern. So you're going to look top right, top left, bottom left. Yeah, up and down. There you go. Yeah. So eyes.
I kind of know how Marty Feldman got his start. I wonder if anybody knows who Marty Feldman was. Anyway.
Why do you think?
I know,
that?
because he had the big eyes. He could, mine are just.
So each eyeball, which is pretty large, has 6 skeletal muscles. So we usually think of skeletal muscles as like, their bicep, or, show me your muscles, or your quads or your glutes. But you also have that same type of muscle tissue that moves your eyes within the orbit. So moving your eyes around can help. Looking far away is a way to relax the eyes. So if you've been looking at things very closely, part of being indoors, the struggle is the capacity of your eyes is limited by the space around you. So if you have a window, or if you happen to be outside, what's the furthest thing you can see? Is it 10 feet away? Is it 20 feet away? Is it 5 miles away? Is it a tree line?
I can see my neighbor's house about 200 feet away.
So from that, on the house, you're going to find like the smallest detail, the roof line, or power lines, or a bird, or a tree leaf. And even if your eyes can't see it, like if you can't bring it into focus, you just kind of gaze off in the distance. And that's a way to relax the muscles of the eye that control vision. Cool. So that can help with headaches, is dealing with eye strain. We talked about ear strain. But most people are probably expecting neck mobility. So let's go back to that.
Well, speaking of that, I will go ahead and confess that I don't have a lot of neck mobility,
Okay. And how do you know this?
Like,
do you drive like this and the car goes with you?
It's just like, okay, I can turn to the left and right, but like this tilt stuff, I mean, that's about, I could never put my head on my shoulder. I can't do that. It doesn't go. It doesn't go very far. I mean, that's about the limit of my range here.
Okay. So you bring up a good point. If people can do this in front of a mirror, or if they just videotape themselves, because as your range improves, it will always feel like you're on the edge. So by having a marker to assess if it's actually changing or not. All right. So we talked about how the spine last week, it can flex, it can extend, it can side bend, and it can rotate. Same with the neck. But we've got this big skull on top, and I'll do mine from the side. You can do yours from the side too if you want. So we'll do the same thing. Tip your head to the left, tip it to the right, looking up and down, rotating left and right. What often happens, I don't know if I'm to the camera at the right angle, is that when it looks like my head's upright, right, Jim? I can't tell.
Yeah.
All right. But when I tip my right ear to the right shoulder, often what happens is that the chin will travel out.
All right. So Lisa, turn to your right just a little bit. There you go.
Okay, like here? Okay.
Yeah.
Like so. So there's a difference between that and this. Is that visible?
Yeah.
So there's one way, and there's another way.
I
So we'll
got
kind of tip the head as a way of escaping the line of tension.
you.
So, you know, we're talking about simple machines. Do you want to remind us what simple machines are?
Simple machines. Okay, there's you one. Somebody put an answer in the. Give me
All
an
right.
example of a simple machine. What's a
Yes.
simple machine, y'all?
Do you remember? I mean, this goes way back. 4th grade, 5th grade.
I'm not seeing any answers yet.
Oh, I called it the tricep pulley. It's not really a pulley, but a pulley would be a simple machine.
A pulley is a simple machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one we're going to be doing today with our head and neck is a ramp.
Right, a ramp.
So do you want to tell us what a ramp is? A wedge.
Wedge. A screw is a simple machine.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
A lever is a simple machine.
It is.
And basically, we use simple machines to distribute work in a simpler manner.
That's a beautiful answer.
Right? I mean, so
because that relates to what we want to do with our head. We want to ramp our head or move our skull up a ramp. So, and I have nothing triangular here to show you. Do you have anything triangular?
Yeah, we got all kind of simple machines here. Let's see what they said. We got an incline plane, a pulley, a fulcrum, lever, a wheel, a seesaw. Yeah. And,
good stuff, folks.
Yeah, here you go. So DR is asking, is a ramp technically a machine? Yes, it is. Because so like a ramp is an inclined plane. And so we use, like if you take two inclined planes, so you got an inclined plane and you got an inclined plane, and we stick them together, now we've got a wedge. And we can use that wedge I use it to split wood, or you can use a wedge to hold your door open. I mean, there's all sorts of, but that's just two inclined planes. So yeah. And so like a good example, my sidewalk to my house, there are steps. I rarely go down the steps. I just walk in the yard. The yard is a ramp, and the ramp is easier than the steps. So it's just, especially going up, I usually just take the ramp. And I'll do that at a store. If a store has a ramp and steps, I'll go up the ramp.
It's actually better for your ankle mobility anyway.
And I'm just that lazy because it's like the ramp is just, to me, it's just easier. And because we are distributing that work over a horizontal direction to gain vertical movement. So
yes, and that is what we need to do with our heads. So can I make a triangle in the thing? This is so weird to do it backwards. Anyhow, our heads are, you know, if you think, oh, she's sitting upright and she's got good posture, but the ponytail will be useful. The base of my skull and the top of my back or the bottom of my neck, that distance, there's a certain distance between those two spots. So see if you can see how, if I tip my head down, that makes those two spots get further away from each other. And but now I'm just looking down at the ground. What I really want to do is ramp my head. So I'm going to travel horizontally while also traveling vertically, which is what Jim just said. So it is a tip down, but the whole skull itself moves up and back. Now that's my current range of motion today, so I hope it's visible. Is that the right side view, Jim?
Yes.
So this is different than if I just lift my chest. It might help if I'm lower on the ground.
So if I sit up straight, it's just...
Well, that's just nodding your chin back and forth. Now take your whole skull and move it up a ramp. There you go. There, that's it.
Oh, so I'm just doing my chicken.
You're doing the chicken.
Yes.
And actually, okay, so you brought a heavy book, right?
I got a book.
So if you're...
I don't read them, folks. I just have them.
So if you hold the book on top of your head, you know, and if you gave yourself a little slight pressure where you were pressing down,
Right.
you know, you would have to ramp your head to meet that pressure. If your head was jutted forward, you know, pressing down would compress you. Right. But if you ramp your head, when you press down, that force just goes through your spine. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense out in the listener world?
Oh, they'll respond here in a minute.
So, ramping the head with your head ramped.
You know, so that's not, that movement. You know, I don't know that I really do that ever.
No. So now go through those first range of motions that we checked on, you know, where we were just going up and around. All right, now ramp your head and then side bend. Chin went forward. Go back. There you go. Now side bend. You'll say, but Lisa, it's even less.
That's all crunchy when I do that.
Yeah. So by ramping your head, you put that part of your spine in like a neutral setting. This part of the spine is not supposed to be straight. So the skin might look like it's straight, but the vertebra create a curve.
Right.
So that curve will be there. But it'll help stack up the bones of the vertebra in your neck so that you share the load of the stretch across the whole neck versus if your chin's out and then you lean over. So simple neck stretches, just simply think about all the directions you can go. And I actually use math symbols to help me remember. So that if I were looking down on my head and I side bend to the left, side bend to the right, that's the minus sign. If I ramp my head and follow my chin down, that's the top of the plus sign. And if I lift my chin, we did this one last week. If you're actually, that's the bottom of the plus sign. You can ramp your head again, turn to the right halfway, and bring the front ear down towards the chest. This way.
Wait.
I don't know if it's your left or your right.
This is my left.
All right. All right, this is my left. Okay. So start over. We'll both do left. All right, so with your head ramped, turn to the right halfway. And then you can use your hand to help if you want. And then the left ear comes down towards the left chest. And then you can see a stretch in the back of the right neck.
Okay.
All right. So that's like the top of the X. And then you can ramp your head, turn to the left halfway. The right ear comes down towards the chest. And it's really just the weight of your hand.
Yeah, I'm not really pulling.
You're not pulling. No need to hurt anything there. Some of these spots haven't moved in a while, so it'd just be really
gentle. Definitely mine.
And then the bottom of the X we did last week, where we paired it with this collarbone thing, where it ramped the head. We didn't talk about ramping the head though. But if you ramp the head this time, turn halfway to the right, take your right ear towards your shoulder blade, and you'll get a nice stretch through the ear. So we can talk about ears again. And then come back up, ramp the head, turn halfway to the left. Left ear goes back towards the left shoulder blades. I don't know. I think that feels good.
Yeah, that was good.
So those are some head stretches you can do. You can do them anyway, but when you add the head ramp, it really opens up the possibilities.
All right. So head ramping.
Head
That's
ramping.
a new thing. That's a new thing, folks.
If sometimes people hurt on their scalp, and in that case, this time of not being able to go see the hairdresser is great, because you take your fingers in your hair, and you're like, you're gonna pull your hair.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah. All right. Then you're gonna just like rotate a little bit, just spin it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then spin it the other way. So I don't know if I could see that or not. Just get a little bunch of hair.
Yeah.
And you're just twisting it.
Right.
So you've got oh, I wonder if you know who this person is.
Wait.
There used to be it's a hair raising event.
It's just...
So someone I used to know who was a bass player, he used to be able to move his scalp. Oh my gosh, you can do it too.
I can wiggle my ears too, but we're not going to do that.
This is so fantastic. Every time I talk to you, I learn something really unique about you.
Yeah,
This grandchild has a lot to look forward to.
Right.
So what you're able to, you've got a muscle on the forehead and you've got a muscle on the back of the skull. And so all over the scalp is the tendon between those two muscles. So it's your ability to isolate and move that tendon around. So by getting a hold of your hair and twisting your scalp, you're addressing that. And I think that feels really good. If you're bald, you're almost out of luck, but you're not off the hook. So if you're bald, you can still benefit. And I'll show you on my forehead. You would just see how it creates like an S shape in skin.
Yeah.
So if you take two, you would do that over your whole scalp.
Oh yeah, I got a friend that's a barber, and he'll do these every now and then. He'll do like a head massage, and I'm familiar with that feeling of those.
Yeah.
Of that S.
Do circles, like
Yeah.
you're washing your hair, but without water.
Yeah.
It feels really great. I hope everybody's trying it.
Yeah. Y'all try this stuff now. I mean, we do it because we like it, but it's also to help y'all as well.
So yeah, lots of reasons for headaches: noise, nutrition, whatever. But
so let's talk about
this might help.
Let's talk about the nutrition aspect.
Okay.
So
I'm not a nutritionist.
Me either, but
we can talk about it anyway.
Are there foods that are going to give me a headache? I know MSG will give me a headache. I do know that.
How about sugar?
Yeah, sugar. Yeah, since I don't eat a whole lot of sugar now, if I eat something that's got sugar in it, it'd be like, oh, shouldn't have done
Alcohol?
that. Alcohol definitely give you a headache. At least tomorrow.
Lack of sleep?
Lack of sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but y'all know, you know that there's certain things that you eat, like stuff with a lot of salt in it, that, so there's that. Oh, what's funny, Lisa, being that you've got your AirPods in. Yeah. Drinking is interesting. You should do that. Yeah. So now we've all heard Lisa swallow. right. So what else we gonna do
Keep that
today?
in
What
mind.
else we got today?
We can talk about hips today if we want.
Hips. Hips are
Hip
good.
hip hooray! Ah, it's a theme, Jim. It's a hip hip hooray! You're a grandpa.
Hey. Well, you know,
Yay.
some of us, we all can't be grandpas, you know.
But you are.
I am.
And you're a new one, so we're gonna
Brand
celebrate with
new.
some hip motion.
Brand new.
Brand
Yeah.
spanking new.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
It feels like it did the day before, except now I'm a grandpa. It's pretty exciting. It really is pretty exciting. You'll get to do this. You'll get to do this. Well, you won't be a grandpa, though.
I won't be a grandpa. All right. Okay, so this one will be standing up, and I'm thinking I should move the camera.
All right. So Lisa's moving the camera.
All right. Yeah, this works. I think.
Yeah.
You're gonna stand up with me, right?
Oh yeah, here, Will.
Oh, I didn't show you the other blockhead move. I was gonna show you a blockhead move.
Well,
I can show you that later.
show you that. Okay, where am I going to be standing?
Yes.
Okay, well.
Hello, sunshine.
Hello, sunshine. Yes. Let's see. Shed some shoes here. Let's see. All right.
All right. So you're gonna
Sorry,
take a
I'm
wide.
so backlit, y'all. You know.
So your upper body is just relaxed. You've got a wide stance, so wider than shoulder. Well, shoulder width or wider.
Yep, I'm there.
All right, and you've got weight in both feet.
I do.
Probably even.
Pretty close.
So you're just going to take your hips and shift back and forth.
I need music.
Da 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 da. The little clicky machines.
Yeah.
Pop. Grip pop goes the weasel. All right. Now,
Okay.
folks at home, can you see? This is a reoccurring theme. Can you see that Jim and I are doing this differently? One's not right and one's not wrong. It's just that they are different.
Okay, folks, tell her what I'm doing wrong.
It's just different. Power pose. All right. So the difference is, let's see. Now you can see it. So there's this.
Right.
Where, and really what it is, the space between the ribs and the pelvis aren't changing.
Gotcha.
Or there's this.
I can tell you I need to take some dancing classes. I can feel this coming. Tom Jones, I'm not.
So it's the mom hip is what it is.
I don't have those. I mean, I have no hips. None.
You've got the hips, you just don't have the waist.
I got no waist.
So
I've
try
got a
this.
waist. I have a lot of waist.
All right, try this. Find the bottom of your rib cage.
All right, that's right.
Usually trace. Right?
Yeah.
So you got a rib cage on each side. Put your thumbs on your rib cage. And
all right.
And then if you go back to the top of your pelvis, right, you'll feel a bone there, right? So we got bones here and bones here. So I like to put my fingers on the top of the hips and the thumbs at the bottom of the ribs.
Yeah, I'm there.
All right. So if I shift to the right, the space between those gets smaller and the space on the left gets longer.
Yeah.
Unless I tip. Right? And then the other side. All right. Now you're going to take 1 foot in front and 1 foot in back.
Okay.
That's harder to see. But and shift your weight to the front foot, shift your weight to the back foot.
Okay.
Front foot to back foot.
Back foot, front foot, back foot.
Now, what's probably not visible is our knees. And the trick to this being a mobilizer for the hips is if you don't bend your knees.
Yeah, I'm not bending my knees, I promise.
Great. All right, and then switch whichever leg is in front. Now, the other thing to check in is if your feet are tracking like one in front of the other. So make sure they're hip width apart.
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, and it just starts to move those hips. And then go back to side. Another way to think about it, Jim, is the sternum.
Right.
It stays, your trunk is just shifting. It's not tipping.
I got you.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
He's got it.
Yay. Have y'all got it with me? You're just standing there. I can't see your comments at this point, you know.
I hope they're hilarious. All right.
I do too.
So it's really a waist mobilizer as well as a hip mobilizer, right?
Right.
So we can flip it around. We can keep the hips still, and it's going to be the rib cage that slides left and right.
So when do I sign up for my belly dance lessons?
This is the beginning of it.
I find I can go one way better than the other.
That's a super good observation.
I can go to the right. Going to the left, it's a little.
Sometimes like driving positions.
Right.
Or like how you sit in the couch, or there's a reason, or maybe it's instrument. I'm not sure.
And to relate this to instruments, y'all,
Here's the front side.
I play, like if we'll go do a show and it'll be like a 45-minute to an hour long set. And I will tell you that I know when the show is over because I'll have a leg go to sleep. And,
right.
And so I'm hoping that some of these different things will be different ways for me to stand and think about my legs and my posture while I'm holding a 12-pound banjo, and maybe add some stamina to my, to my show, at least for me to be there holding a banjo.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the sort of thing you can do while you're waiting for water to boil or the microwave to finish, or on a phone call or standing in line, Yeah.
I mean, even the front to back thing is something new, something I really hadn't thought about, but that could certainly help.
And then with the rib cage, figuring out how to slide it left and right, but you can also slide it front and back, which is a little trickier, I think, because I'm not a belly dancer. I got a belly though.
Yeah, well, I'm hiding mine.
We qualify.
I'm hiding mine at the moment. It's gone. I don't have one.
So then you can certainly, make circles.
All right.
Now, when I'm doing the circular path, I kind of like to think about my feet.
Okay.
That the weight, like if there were scales or like a thermograph or something under my feet, or like a pressure mat under my feet, that kind of like what we did with the hands, that the whole surface of my foot that's in contact with the ground is evenly supporting me on both feet. And then if I shift my weight to one side, both feet are on contact, but like right now my right foot is carrying me more. And as I bring my pelvis to the front, the weight starts to go in the front of those right toes.
Right.
And then I shift it over to the left toes. Don't bend your knees. and then the left foot, and then the heel, and then both feet.
Okay.
And then back around. So I kind of think of like my feet are holding me up, and by shifting my center of mass, a different part of my foot has to hold me up. Right. Now, I didn't do this, but if your feet were turned out, you might feel it more in your hips if your feet turn parallel to each other. So you could try that.
Yeah, I tend to be duck-footed anyway. My feet want to point out like 90 degrees or something. So.
Yeah, or 45.
45.
All the way 90.
Yeah, no.
You're a ballerino.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So for you especially, or if going from 45 feet turned out to straight ahead, where the outside edges of your feet are parallel to each other, if that's too much strain, you know, just bringing it in a little bit. But if it doesn't hurt and it's just awkward, well, we love awkward. We're banjo players.
Yeah, but you know, I'm just thinking of that in terms of another way that I can stand on stage that changes just.
You just need a small enough change.
Yeah, you know, so suddenly body geometry is just a little different. Maybe the leg won't go to sleep, but you know, right now I use that to know when it's time for me to end the show. So
to shut it down.
That's right.
Yeah, so let's catch up on any comments if there are. And then, we can answer some questions.
Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, Rod suggests that if I had on my overalls, we wouldn't be able to tell anything. That's true.
Sometimes it's important to cover it up, and sometimes it's useful to see what's going on.
And Rod also makes this comment.
Oh, okay. Prosthetic leg. Is that from the knee down, hip? I'm guessing it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So whether it's a prosthetic leg or like, I'm sure a lot of people have had hip replacements or knee surgeries. When you've changed the structure, there's going to be different limitations. So honor that. With any of these things, you're not forcing it anyway. So thanks for that comment. That's really helpful to hear.
Let's see what kind of comments that I can track down. All right, I'm good there. Okay, I think we're good. All right. And
good deal.
You told me I was going to have to get in the floor.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see. So if people don't have a yoga block, this is a 4-inch yoga block, they might have a dictionary or a book. What kind of book we got, Jim?
It's the Book of Virtues.
Oh, nice. Okay. So for this one, I have to move the camera again. We're going to get on the floor and we're going to lay on our back. We don't need a ton of space because your knees will be bent. Okay. All right.
I'm going to, there we go.
All right. I'm going to put my hair back so that hopefully y'all can see what's going on. So those 2 dots on the back of our head and bottom of the neck, show those again. So back of the skull here, bottom of the neck here, that when we lift the chin, those 2 dots come together. When we drop the chin, they go far apart. When we ramp the head, they also go far apart. So one way to passively work on that is to get a book or a block and you just rest your head there. You want the block under your skull, not under your neck itself.
Okay.
And this move is great because you don't have to do anything but relax.
You know,
So
I'm all
at
for
first,
this, but I might go to sleep.
you still got to catch up on your sleep from all this news, huh?
I know.
Let's see. Can you see? Is the camera enough that you can see that?
Yes.
Can you see the carpet under my head?
Hang
This
on.
is like that. I can try it.
Yeah. Here, I'll make our names go away.
Okay.
There you go. That's good.
All right. So that's probably a very common neck posture. Not a problem, right? But to stretch the back of the neck tissues, or to show you the head ramp, that's the head ramp.
Right.
So if I'm just laying like I would normally, I'll feel a lot of contact higher up on my skull than if my head is ramped.
Okay.
So what the block or the book does is it gets you into that head ramp position. It's tipped forward a bit, but it gets longer in the back of the neck and helps that relax. And I think it was last week we talked about the trap muscles. It's also a neck muscle. So if you add external rotation, that gets that middle trap, and the block helps get that upper trap. Something like that.
Okay.
And it is pretty relaxing.
Yeah.
I'll just stay here. I'll stay here the rest of the show.
Stay with us, Lisa.
But hopefully you can see what's going on. I don't know if I make it white.
Yeah.
If that helps you see it a little better.
That's good.
So really, you're relaxing into a double chin position.
Right.
And it's not aesthetically great, but it feels great.
Okay.
So that's what the book thing is all about. You could also use a stack of like firm blankets. It doesn't
Right.
have to be this hard.
Right.
And you just relax there for a little bit.
Awesome.
So that's the blockhead move.
Great. All right, folks. Let's see here. Yeah, Rob was saying his prosthetic leg was below the knee.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. Make sure we hadn't missed anything. Because we're closer to the end of this program than we are to the beginning of it.
In possibly more ways than one. We for sure have next week that we're going to do this, and then we got to figure out how to keep it going.
Yeah. So is this? So let me just point blank ask y'all. I mean, we're not getting a huge audience for this, but is this something that you'd like to see continue as viewers? I mean, because it's simple enough to go poop, and here we are. I mean, it's not. It's not like it's a huge undertaking for me to do this, and so we can continue to do this if this is something that you would like. I envision this going forward just as a way of just reaching out to musicians and people that want to get moving, and I'm willing to do the exercises and whatever for you. I mean, it's at least good for a laugh. And so
I think, was it at the beginning of this or before we went live, you were starting to say that you'd been doing some of the finger exercises.
Yeah, I've been doing the finger exercises. I've been doing those almost daily. And so it's definitely helping. Hands feel better. I'm kind of used to the new status of my hands being a little more flexible. And so when I first started it, I definitely had some issues in overshooting or overreaching for things because I had more flexibility. So, but that's definitely better. So I definitely recommend those hand stretches. That's good stuff. Yeah, Rod is all for this. He said, well, here, boom.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Thanks for passing it along.
Yeah, and Philip is all for it as well. So.
Oh, thanks, you guys.
So yeah.
All right, Duck Marks, I've got a challenge for you. On the first video and the recording of the discussion, let's see. Oh, I missed that last one.
No, I didn't mean to click it, but,
okay.
But here, I'll put it up there.
Major elbow pain. Would like to hear some help with that. Okay, Mike, we'll get to that. But for the fingers one, the live recording is on Jim's channel, and then just the exercises are on my channel. I think there's like 17 exercises. So my challenge to you with the finger issue is to pick, a handful or so of those 17 exercises. Try those every day, once or twice a day.
Every day. Just do
every day.
You're going to practice your banjo every day. It's only going to add just a few minutes to your banjo practice. Not even that.
Yeah. So pick a few to start with, try those every day, and see how it goes for a week, and check back with us. I'd be curious to see how that goes, Duck, next week, and see how it goes. But just mobilizing the joints themselves, but also circulating the fingers, and see if that sometimes it may not change the circumference of the finger, but it will change your functionality. And that, because sometimes it's like it feels too squishy. Like I feel that in the middle, right? You like try to go bend over and you're like, hey, my belly's in the way. And it's uncomfortable, right?
Well, yeah. See, I experienced oh gosh, almost 2 years ago or so, when we joined the gym, I started on the rowing machine. Well, I was 270 pounds. And so when I would be at the start of my drive, I didn't fit on the dadgum rowing machine. I was having to spread my legs out to get my belly, where I could just get compact enough to start a decent drive on the rowing machine. And so that was yeah. So anyway.
So sometimes there's tissue that's in the way of the movement, and sometimes it doesn't matter. It might just be the joint mobility. So you can improve one, which is faster than changing the other. Maybe.
Let's see.
And then the one about elbows.
Yeah,
elbow plane. So there's when your palm is up, you've got the bones of the forearm are parallel to each other. So there's the thumb side bone, and then there's the pinky side bone. And so elbow pain can be on the pinky side, or it can be on the thumb side. It could also be some other things, but usually people are either hurting there or there. And so it's typically called like golfer's elbow or tennis elbow. The name of it doesn't really matter, but I would again check like range of motion, get those things moving. A lot of the elbow stuff is going to be in the first video. And a similar challenge, if you picked a few that you were drawn to, do those daily. You don't have to do them hard or aggressively or for a long time. You can sprinkle it throughout the day, maybe a little bit before you practice or a little after, or pick a time of day that works for you, and see how that goes. But a lot of times there's just a lot of tension, and then when you start playing on top of that with these fine motor skills, that tension builds up. So figuring out how to release the tension, and that can be through if you think about the elbow being in between the shoulder and the hand, doing things to address the hand or the shoulder or both changes the environment in which your elbow lives. So I hope that helps you think about it differently.
Let's see. I got this one. Lisa, do you have an exercise to help his fingers fret the right notes?
Is that the pinky thing?
No, that's probably the solution on fretting the right notes. I don't know if there's the real exercise for that is just you got to fret a lot of notes, and at some point it's just going to get better.
Is that like when you bar across the whole thing?
Nah, I think he's just. I think the question is just more or less, is there an exercise to make me play better? Probably not. But all of this applies, and it's all something that's going to just really, it'll get better. And the biggest thing about improving your accuracy playing is a matter of just playing. I mean, we get better at the things we do, and it's like, okay, since we've all been sheltered in place, I'm cooking every day, so I'm cooking lunch, and I've chopped up a whole lot of bell peppers recently, and over the past several weeks, I've gotten really good at cutting up a bell pepper. I mean, boom, they're done. And it's like, and I noticed today that the process, I cut up 3 bell peppers today, and it was like, boom, I'm done. And it's like, oh, now I get it when you pull up a recipe and it says meal prep 5 minutes, and I'm going 5 minutes. There's no possible way. And then, it is. So it's just come from repetition and practice. So if I can get faster at cutting up bell peppers and onions, and you can get more accurate with your fingers too. I promise you. Let's see here. We're talking about barring. Yeah. So just my thing on like barring any kind of bar chords. Find a spot on your finger that's just really comfortable, that you can really flatten out. So it's just, also you want to get a good bit of pressure behind the neck. So I'll use my thumb, and so I get that. So there's our barring question. Right, I can play groundhog, but I'm probably not gonna. Let's see. Let's see. When I go to work, hear a lot of bluegrass and practice different roles on steering wheel. Is that good? Yeah, absolutely. I used to practice. I practice when I'm driving. I practice on my leg if I'm sitting somewhere. If I ever had to sit for very long, like if I had, I was in a waiting room at the doctor's office, or I had to sit for any length of period of time at the DMV or whatever, I would sit and practice those rolls on, I practice them on my leg usually. I just practice my right hand. So yeah, I definitely do that. Let's see. Oh, and then Duck commented that he's got essential tremors. So yeah. And
okay.
You just
let us know how it goes.
Yeah, let us know. Well, folks, it's 4:09. Well,
it goes by fast.
Where Lisa and I are. Lisa, I didn't use my mat.
Did you bring a mat out?
Yeah, I brought one of my sleeping mats out for camping. Did you just see a cat go by? Yeah, I did too. Cats are wild today. So.
Well, do you want to play us out, Jim?
Yeah, somebody asked about 8 more miles to Louisville, and so I thought I'd give that a whirl. Let me get resituated here, and Dun, dun, dun. There I am. Is that still me? It's wrong way with the camera. There we go.
There we go.
Let's
You
see.
want to tell us about your banjo? This is a different one than you had
Yeah,
earlier.
this is a different banjo. I can't remember when I bought this. This is
pretty.
like the little planet on there, and then it's a Mike Ramsey. It's a Woody.
Can you make your screen bigger too?
Yeah,
so we can see it while you're talking about it.
Yeah, here, let's go. But no, wrong way. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to. I'm gonna take you out.
There we go.
I'm gonna put you back. And
hello.
Boom. Hey, you're over there now. Oh wow. This is a Mike Ramsey. It's the model is a Woody, which seems even more inappropriately named when I tell you that it's a 12-inch Woody. So y'all take that wherever you want to with it, because I sure did when I bought it. So let's see, 8 more miles to Louisville, and yeah, Duck, she's wild. Hey, Mo, good job on boiling cabbage down, and it'll get better. It'll get better. Mo, just hang in there. So 8 more miles to Louisville. I don't remember who asked for that, and I hope they're still in the chat. So if you're not, maybe you'll see it later. Maybe this is the right key for me. This is a Grandpa Jones song, and when I was a kid, I met him, and I was working on trying to learn to play the Clawhammer frailing style that he played, and really wasn't having a whole lot of luck. And so I met him at Lake Winnipesaukee. Lisa knows where that is, and some of y'all do. And he gave me a book on how to play in this style, and so that's where it all began. So it's cool to play this song. So maybe if I'm in tune, and boy, I hadn't played any old time in a long time. So I've traveled o'er this country wide, seeking fortune fair. I've been down the 2 coastlines, I've traveled everywhere. From Portland east to Portland west and back across the line. I'm going now to the place that's best, the old hometown of mine. 8 more miles and Louisville will come into my view. 8 more miles in this old road, I'll never more be blue. I knew someday that I'd be back, I knew it from the start. 8 more miles in Louisville, the hometown of my heart. There's bound to be a gal somewhere that you like best of all. Mine lives down in Louisville, she's long and she's tall, but she's the kind that you won't find traveling through the land. I'm on this way this very day to win her heart and hand. 8 more miles of Louisville will come into my view. 8 more miles on this old road, I'll never more be blue. I knew someday that I'd be back, I knew it from the start. 8 more miles of Louisville, the hometown of my heart. Now I can picture in my mind a place we call our home. A humble little hut for 2 we never want to roam. A place that's right from the upside up on those bluegrass hills, where gently flows the Ohio through a place called Louisville. 8 more miles to Louisville will come into my view. 8 more miles on this old road, I'll never more be blue. I knew someday that I'd be back, I knew it from the start. 8 more miles to Louisville, the hometown of my heart.
That
There
was
you go.
beautiful.
There you go. 8 more miles to Louisville. I hadn't thought of that or played that. Hey, Severin, thanks a lot, man. Severin sent us some money. He
Well,
super
thanks.
stickered us. He super stickered us.
Cool.
That's pretty cool. Thanks, Severin. Yeah. Let's
Thanks
see.
for inspiring the topic of the show today, Severin.
Yeah, this one was pretty much Severin's idea. A classic banjo song. Really, Joseph, I don't really do a whole lot of classic banjo. I haven't done much of that in a while. I have worked on some of that turn of the century stuff, and I just didn't learn much of it, and it's certainly not something I'd want to tackle on my channel because some of those things are just enormous. So yeah, best cheap price banjo. Check out Recording King. They're Dirty 30s models. They're fantastic. Those folks are good to me, and I sure always recommend them whenever I can. Let's see.
And that's coming up again Friday. The live talk with that guy.
I've got a live stream this Friday with Ashley and Travis from Recording King. So I want you all to show up. Bring your questions, Let's see. Make sure I haven't missed anything. Nope, I think we're good. Folks, thank y'all for coming out.
Thank you.
Let's see, Jim, what's different now versus back? What's different now? What do you mean as far as what banjos are available? Gosh, back when I was learning, there weren't any decent, good, cheap banjos at all. They were all just awful. Let's see. All righty. David Buckingham, I'm not going to play Jerusalem Ridge. You can just, that's just not going to happen. Let's see, make sure we hadn't missed anything good. No, I think we're all right. Hey, thank y'all for coming out. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Lisa, thanks for doing this again. And y'all visit Lisa on Instagram. There's a good way to get visit Lisa's Venmo. Hopefully you can go back to work soon. Yeah.
I think eventually. Yeah.
Maybe one of these days. Who knows? All right.
It'll evolve.
Hey, folks, let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything. All right. Hey, we'll see y'all. See you next time. All right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Boom.